Olá, muito bem-vindos mais uma vez ao Diálogo Medicina. Hoje aqui estamos para o último Diálogo Medicina do ano, num sítio especial. Eu estou na Galiza e estou assim numa casa muito castiça, muito antiga. Então estou assim muito feliz por aqui estar e por facilitar este espaço. Hoje vamos ter um diálogo de medicina em inglês e a nossa convidada é a Nicola Amadora, e eu vou chamar porque ela já está aqui.
Hello. We are-
Hello, darling. So you need to just put the camera. Yes, thank you.
Good. Wonderful. Hi.
Hi. Hi. Nice to see you. You are beautiful.
And so are you. Isn't it wonderful to start with a compliment?
Yes. Just we need just to listen your voice once again, just to understand if the sound is good.
Yes. Do you
Yes,
hear me?
it's good. So just before we begin this medicine, this dialogue, I just want to ask to make 1 minute of silence, just to connect and to share another kind of energy with our hearts in this beginning. So you are very welcome to this space, and I just call you when we finish our minute of silence. Okay?
Thank you.
And we can come back. And welcome again, Nicola. It's a pleasure to receive you here in this space of sharing hearts. And thank you for helping me to close this year in this typical calendar that we know. Thank you for helping me to jump to the next year in this medicine that we call dialogue. I just want to share with the people that are listening that for me it was a very good surprise to know you in this year. It was an experience of sharing, because we live together in the same house, not in the same space, but in the same house. And you you came from California, and you are living now in Portugal. So for me, it was very good, the experience, and I just want to thank you for that, for the experience. That for us it was good, be neighbors, share the same river, the same trees, the same energy of our temple, of our house. So it was very good, and thank you for that too. Thank you for bringing me the energy to just encore. I don't know if the word is that, is the encore, the energy in that house. So welcome, and I just want to ask you in this beginning and of this dialogue, if you can explain and express how is your weather inside.
Yes. So first of all, I just want to say thank you, Sarah, for welcoming me here into this beautiful, the roots of Portugal. And I also wanted to thank you for welcoming me into this country, which was completely new to me. And I was, I just really, it was a blessing that we were sharing house and sharing witches rituals in that river during this COVID time. And just thank you for this beautiful friendship that evolved in that time for us. So I just feel like we're really sisters. And I still remember this magical walk I took you on to in Sintra in the mountains, where that's the first time we did ritual and we prayed together and we connected. It was just, there's a magic there. So, and I want to also say thank you to everyone who's joining today. I'm honored, and I hope you understand my English, because my Portuguese, there would be not very much coming out of my mouth. And it's, I'm still trying to learn, but bom dia, boa tarde, and beijinhos is my favorite word. So I use that a lot if I don't know what to say. Because I love this, that you say kisses. And in California, we give hugs. So yeah, and my internal weather is sunny. Yeah, blue sky. So that's the feeling I have right now, and it's a great joy to share with you today on, yeah, well, we let come what comes from within, but Fire of True Love is a very good beginning for a new year. I think we all need a little bit of that after sitting in the COVID lockdowns and whatever craziness is going on in this world. So, yeah, so thank you.
Yes, I am. It's a very good theme, because actually this house where I am now have 3 fireplaces, and we are just feeding the fire, and it's, for me, it's home. The fire is home, and my weather inside of me now, it's fire, so it's perfect. It's like a very sunny day, but with the abuelo, with the grandfather of the fire here. So you bring us a memory that for me, I'm feeling that it's very it's special, the that walk that we made on the forest, in the forest, the first one that I told you that probably I had fear walk alone on the forest, and we just go to the top and we stay in the rain together, and I felt that the energy that you remember me more and more, this energy of the ritual energy. So it's important just to open this conversation, and I'm feeling that you are the right person to do that. Can you explain what is a ritual for you? And why is important for us live with rituals?
For me, it's a way of life, because I feel like for me, it's simple. It's making holy even the most ordinary moments. Whether the ritual is washing dishes with singing the name of God, or singing the name of the divine, that's a ritual. Making sacred what often we forget is already sacred. Or, joining together and lighting a candle, or sitting here in this moment, we're creating actually this field of a ritual, making sacred, bringing consciousness to it, and honoring. For me, it also includes honoring other beings, like the animals and the ancestors and the trees and the forest and the fire, bringing in the elements. Of course, we can do ritual outside or inside our house, and setting up a space to make sacred our new intentions for the new year, and speaking that, and like you were at my Thanksgiving event, and we did a ritual together, just to honor and honor the people that walked before us, honor our connections. Doing a ritual for me is like, literally, ceremony and ritual is a way of living.
Yes, and for you, the time is important in these rituals. The time, you think time, or you feel that the time is something that is actually, time exists in this kind of practical rituals, or time. What is the relationship with time in this kind of rituals?
I mean, just like with love, for me, there is no time and space in the field of love. And probably everybody who's here has experienced those moments when you enter into the timeless. And however, it's really so, when we did the winter solstice ceremony, I felt like it's also important to align with the planetary shift that is happening right now, or seasons like the solstice, and for some it's Christmas or New Year. But there is something about when we connect it to the present time, and the time that a ritual has always been done, like, for example, the winter solstice. It's like something that's a tradition. So the energy becomes stronger when we do it all together at the same time, of course, and align it with the season, the land, the stars.
It's in these days, more than ever, I'm feeling that we need just to live. We need to open our hearts to live these rituals more and more and more and more. It's like living in a constant ceremony.
Yes.
And why we can, how we can find a healthy life, and open consciousness in this kind of space, because you open in your life, you open many rituals. And why people feel the need to rescue this practice, because I think many people don't understand, and it's important just people with practical words and with a good explanation open this subject with simplicity, and just give instructions to people that don't know why rituals are important, and why we open spaces that clarify this relation with no time, and with love, and with the sacred with sacredness. So why you discovered this relationship with rituals? You born with that, and or you find?
I think it's such a good question, you know. I mean, it's like for me, like my spiritual path started very early, and in Germany, I used to live in Germany way, you know, when I was in my teenage years, and I did not, at that time, you know, we're in a very different time now where so many people spiritually awakening, but at that time, you know, it was Bavaria. It was like in the Catholic Church, and that was it. And I was not raised with rituals. I did not know about meditation, and I didn't even find a meditation book. So I just taught myself how to meditate. But with the rituals, it was quite natural when it wasn't really complicated. It was more like, oh, this is the moment where I have an intention and I light a candle with that and speak it out loud. That's how simple it started, you know? And then it became more and more like, oh, with a friend, I would sit and create, sanctify the space by, you know, simply lighting a candle and doing a prayer together before we had a conversation about deeper things or needed to resolve a conflict. Yeah. So it just like, it became more natural. I started to discover, and then of course I learned the elements of ritual, and I learned ceremonies and all that stuff. But also, you know, when we talk about the fire right now, you know, it's like that fire of true love. I realized that if we really want to be consciously awake in the field of love, sometimes what helps us is to open gateways. And I feel like gateways that really declare, here we are in this moment. And this is the moment where we not only invite our guides and ancestors, but we invite every being, and also to invite who we are truly, but also our humanity, so that ritual doesn't become some stoic, you know, old thing where you have to be very holy. It doesn't mean that. It's the same with love. It doesn't mean we have to pretend we're not human, but rather we're creating this sacred space that we're doing right now here on Instagram, you know, live. We're creating that space right now. That's where the magic begins to happen, you know, where you can feel, maybe the people who are real here can already feel there is a transmission happening, there's an aliveness happening in this space. Because I can feel with you, Sara, that you tuning into a bigger field, and in that moment, that's where we have already a ceremony happening here. We can call it talking ceremony, you know? But without that invitation of the spirit, I feel like we can just spend time hanging around in our heads and talking concepts. And with love, it's so easy to have a cliche in our head and a concept, but it isn't real until we are in that sacred space. And I think a simple ritual like sitting down together in an afternoon and lighting a candle with a friend and doing a prayer or a silent moment, that's how we started, actually can allow us to feel more connected already right there with each other. So it's my
Yes. And one of our first conversations about this fire of true love, we talk about the presence of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And actually, I think it's this sacred energy that unites us in something that I'm feeling that is from our past, but is just from here too. And it's like with no time. So we are here, we have the opportunity to talk again and to share again about this in this time, in this culture, in this tradition. And we talk a little bit about the origin of the teachings of these two human beings that for me they are creating sense and heart every day, every time, with so much love and so much expansion. And I like and I love to talk with you about this. And if we are just co-creating this space about the fire of true love, I think talk a little bit about these two human beings is a blessing for you, for me, for people that are listening or they listening after. So, how you discover Jesus and Mary Magdalene in your life?
Well, I wanted to just say first, Sarah, it is my favorite theme to talk about. It's like fire of true love. It's like such joy that we get to share about that, because when we shared a little bit on our walk, it was like my fire was just lit up, because there is I can feel the joy bubbling up in me right now, just to be able to share and to communicate about it. And for me, it's like that fire of true love, I think, can save our world, if we really awaken to that more fully. But I feel that Mary Magdalena and Joshua walked that path, and they made a passage for all of us of sacred union to walk through. And for me, it was, I'm just going to share a brief magical moment that I had where, I had already a connection with, I call him Joshua. He just came one day, always sat silent in the churches, not when there was the church event, but in Germany, it was like afterwards. I sat in there and I started to have communication with him. But it wasn't until much later that one day, when I was in a really difficult time of my life, just extremely difficult, and outside, the wind was howling, and it was like 12 o'clock at night. It was kind of magical. I lit all the candles. It was around this time, the Christmas time. And I had been very much practicing Buddhism and many other things, But at that time, I was like, I just was on my knees and prayed. Show me a way through. I have no more breath to go. I'm sweating. This is horrible happening in my life. Show me the path. And so in that moment, the house door flew open, but the door was a very heavy door, and that house door wasn't easy to open. And it flew open, and suddenly I felt this enormous being of light standing before me. And you always said, who are you? And I heard it's Joshua and Mary Magdalena. And I was like, Mary Magdalena? That's the whore. I just had no clue, literally no idea. And it was 20 years ago. Hardly anybody talked about Mary Magdalene, I said, well, what do you have to say? And I said, well, you are of the Sangre de Real. The Sangre de Real really means, I did not know what this meant. I said, what? that line. And I said, what line? It was like, it was complete weird language. I had no idea. At some point, he said, just check, just find out about it. And then I studied and went deeper into this word, sangre de real, which is the sacred blood lineage of Mary Magdalena and Joshua. And I thought, this is weird. This is all completely different than what is written in the normal Bible. This sacred bloodline, that means they have given birth to a child and then they were together. And they confirmed that by saying, we were together and we were married and we had a child, and many came from this bloodline. So I imagine that some of you who are listening are also from this bloodline. And I discovered, and what they said was like, our teaching, the original teachings of love have been lost and covered over and degraded and dismissed because they're so deep and powerful that, unfortunately, I'm not against or for the church, I'm just saying that it was covered over completely and buried. The truth was buried because, for one reason, because the woman Mary Magdalene would, as a feminine figure, would have the same power as a male. And so for all that reason already, it was covered over. But the other thing was the secret teachings had to do, I can't go right now. I want to just really keep it simple so that we can go back and forth. I could just go on for the next hour, but I'm holding my horses here. Otherwise, the fires just burn it all out, And I'm like, oh, poof. We're all burned up. But one of the things is just of the path of true love is that it evokes an enormous power, and it is such a sacred path that it will burn everything up. If you walk that path, it will burn up everything, every delusion you hold, every false identity, everything that isn't true. And it will illuminate you so much that you are able to be a force of love, especially in a world that needs us now. But it is also a teaching that doesn't give power to just one intermediary, like, you have to be a priest, or it gives power to the people. And it gives equal power to the feminine and the masculine. And there's a specific dance that they created a bridge that is not just equal feminine masculine, but it harnesses its power so that we can unite and find and walk a new way together. So yeah, but there's so much more. I'm sorry, I'm just
Yes. No. You just popping me some ideas that I just want to ask you, but I'm just drinking your diet, your sharing with me. You like, I know you work with hearts and with feminine energy, not only but with the feminine energy. Why it's important bring healing to the feminine, not your vision about this, because I think it's very important to explain to some people that sometimes don't understand why some women are working with group of women. And what's your point of view about this kind of work only with women, but to actually to heal, to help to heal the world and help to make that fusion that you talk about with the masculine?
That's beautiful. I think one of the base one can recognize imbalance in our world of the feminine. I mean, we have had 2,000 years or more of oppression in our world, yeah? So, and when we look at our relationship to the earth, I mean, we have ravished her pretty much. We've poisoned and polluted her. It's pretty obvious that the feminine life-giving force has been so oppressed. But also we've taken the whole time. We've just taken from her. And I think the teachings, the very masculine teachings in most religions, and I studied all of them, is that God is about transcendent, is not form. But she says, I am form, I am this world, I am the tree, I am your body, I am these eyes looking at you. She's completely immanent. I am your humanity, the tears you cry, the laughter you spill over. That the feminine has been so disregarded, and we have to resurrect her basically and let her rise. And at this time right now, which is a great joy in me to see so many women are waking up and starting to use their voices, starting to see their bodies are beautiful, no matter what shape you're in, or starting to come together and saying, we really need to start celebrating and getting to know our womanhood and our true, I don't use the word goddess so much. It's a little too agey for me, but to start to root down to our true feminine power, that ancient power that you can see moves the ocean, it grows the tree. There's something that birthed your baby through you that gives life. Yeah, we could call it Shakti, or we'd call it life force. And that feminine power, when I take women to the Mary Magdalena cave in France, and we sit deeply in that dark cave. That starts rising from deep within, through your body, and you start to realize, oh my God, this is magnificent. This is so intimate. This life force that can heal anything, that is so incredibly loving. And of course, it activates the heart, but it also activates the womb, and it certainly activates your yoni. And in many deep ways, the masculine, we have the masculine also in us, as the men have it, and the women have also a side of the masculine. We've kind of cut off from it. We've become so afraid of it. Because, the power of the ocean, or the power of nature, you can't control it. And that's the fear, this original feminine power. We cannot control it, but we can submit and surrender and let it live us, let it move us, and therefore create a better world. And I think, I've done women's work for 30 years, but now it's also shifting towards like uniting the masculine and the feminine, bringing healing to women and men, because there's such a rift, and there's such pain and such sorrow and such misunderstanding and so much fight, It's like there is a way, and that's the path of the fire of true love. That it's not just a new agey, we make everything pink and, but we go right through the pain together to meet and find there is a bridge where we can reach each other's hearts and understand each other. So, yeah, horses sometimes. I'm like, when I get going.
And how we can co-create this vision in a sense of a community. because I know, and you told me that you had a community in California.
Yeah.
And what do you learn about community and that kind of healing processes with feminine and masculine and go together to our pain?
Well, I also want to say, Sarah, you are really good in creating community.
Thank you.
That's, I mean, really, I just want to just say we have been in circles together here, and I've seen your community and how deeply you deal with things, and you know, you work with it, and it's not always easy to create community. It's actually, it sounds very idealistic, but as you know, it's it's like a fire because there's people that are nice and there's people who are not nice. And for me, you know, when I had my center in California, of course, it takes a lot of like, it's like being a mother to a baby, you know, and it's a lot of work in the beginning. Anybody who had a baby knows it's a 24/7 job. And but at some point it's, you know, you have to be a strong leader in the beginning, but then you have to also empower everyone. And so when we worked with the feminine and the masculine, and it was also, you know, that's what I do now when I teach in Europe on that, is the feminine and the masculine is like, it seems almost like we're polar opposites. And the first thing I find was always so important to honor and really celebrate our difference. Sameness, yes, we're same in our true nature, where our true nature is love, yeah. But in the form, in the flesh, we are so different, and there is beauty in it. Not try to make things the same, everybody the same. It's a wrong approach. It's like we put everybody all of a sudden should be vanilla ice cream. Yeah, we have different flavors, and so the masculine and the feminine has a particular flavor. Like we had to recognize, for example, that, you know, you could say the feminine is the earth, is the immanence, is the masculine, or is the chalice, yeah, through which life pours into. And the masculine, you could take the sword, you know, it's like the one got the hunter who's focused and one pointed goes after his prey, and the feminine who sits in circle because she needs the grandmother and the sister to help with the baby and the cooking and everything, while the feminine has always been more natural in oriented towards relationships. Well, the masculine had to make sure, hunt, get the food on the table, protect the village. Yeah, it is a very different dynamic for the masculine. And so the masculine is also more oriented towards transcendence, towards like, you know, the beyond. Whereas the feminine is like busy with her pots and pans and finds her beloved in the cooking, yeah, in the spices. So when you have, and then we notice, I'm sure everyone noticed already in their own lives, you talk to a man, and this guy is like completely doesn't get what you're saying, and you think you said it as simple and as clear as words, and then you repeat it for good measure, and you repeat it again, and all there is, it ends up in a conflict, and nobody understands nothing. And so this is why this book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, probably some of you are familiar with that, is
Yes.
become so popular. But there's something funny about it because you just think like, wow, we're really talking from different planets. Yeah, and it's and then you're like, then I hear women say, I wish men would be more like women, or men would say, I don't understand what women want, and then the women say, we don't know either what we want. So we could get lost in the psychology of it too, or but we can also recognize that spiritually or for the path of love, we need both forces. We need the chalice, we need the blade, we need the transcendence, we need the immanence. We need the aloneness, the focusedness, and the discipline, and we also need the holding, the embrace, the mother, and we need the intimacy, and we need the masculine is more boundaries, and so the feminine says, come everybody in my house, and the guy says, no, not everybody is allowed. Yeah, so we need the dynamic because it's life itself giving us both, and we have that in us. However, the most of it is in war. Yeah, so many wars are played out in the world because it is not in alignment. We have kind of like screwed it up, and either the masculine takes over and says, I'm the patriarchy now, and the women go down underground and say, I can't help it, I can't say anything. It's like everything has gone out of whack, and we're here to actually, in order for love to really flourish in our world, to take us completely home, and we're creating a new earth here. We need to recognize these forces and start actually working with them, and connecting with each other and learning how do we actually dance together in the fire.
Yes, exactly. And I'm just living some intense experiences about what is diving in this way of living as a community, and I'm discovering some simple but strong things about it. One of them is sharing moments together, just sharing moments, not with purpose, just a walk on the forest, or a meal, or just share like the intimacy in a moment of silence, of a moment of dialogue. For me, in the beginning, when we need to construct something, materialize something, we need just to create this space, not putting the action and the masculine energy, but just embrace the moments. And actually, another thing that I'm learning, and you help me in a specific step of this growing process. It's important that we are open to dialogue, even when we are in a moment of pain, or in a moment of rage, or in a moment of I don't know, I'm not feeling good things, and I just want to just be not, I don't know, but we learn together in that moment that it's very important when we decide and when we choose to co-create um, presence, and presence asks us to talk, and when we are not understanding the other, we need just to breathe and just make some silence. And again, I'm not understanding what you are saying, and I need that you go to another place inside yourself and explain with other words or with other feelings. I don't know, but I'm just here investing in me and in you. So for me, this is making such a difference when we just to decide not running from ourselves. And in the community, I'm just learning step by step that if you want to belong, it's important that you don't run from these kind of dialogues. Don't run when the movement is connect. Community is connect community. So if you go to a community, you go to a place that you need to connect. So for me, it's very important just draw some lines to understand how we are living here in this world. If we need to become the world a community, if we need to connect. So the rituals and this magical work that you are working and making since, I don't know, 30 years, that you are making this process of your soul. It's all about community. It's all about connecting. It's all about co-create that harmony between feminine and masculine, and co-create the harmony when some wounds of feminine are very strong. We need just to nourish them. And now we can just unite the masculine with the feminine, and we can actually receive the feminine inside of a man. It's very beautiful when we can see the feminine awakening inside of men and the masculine awakening inside of women. It's very, very, very strong and very beautiful. And it's very interesting because actually we mirror ourselves in some very strong points. And one of the things that I love in you and I love in us is when we just have these kind of conversations, very deep conversation, but suddenly we are laughing and we are just being human. And this is a way of be in a community, not in a deep, always in a deep process. Now we are sacred and we are here together in this serious role. No, we need just to find deep ways of laughing, deep ways of be smooth with each other's and sharing moments.
I call it, yeah, that's a beautiful thing, you know, that you call it more natural connection, cherish and live. And it's not about like being holy, spiritual, whatever, but it's like really being connected. That's what you need. And I think that's what I've seen, you know, all around the world. It doesn't matter which country, everybody is longing for real connection. And the society has taught us all the other ways of disconnecting. So, and the part of the feminine and the masculine is in men and horse. And there is something about like this, what you spoke to about the difficulty. Yeah, and I think from what I've seen is like that's where it falls or rises, is the moment when people, like you spoke to that, when they're willing to show up even for the difficulty. And the holy marriage in, let's say, in the fire, in the path of true love, is about in good and bad times, I stand with you. That does not mean that I agree with you, but it means I'm willing to show up, not just when you're married with somebody, but with your friend or with your community. I'm willing to show up even, excuse my French, when shit hits the fan. There's difficulties that the more we embrace our humanness and of course our divinity and say, yes, we will have difficulties and we will have celebrations and delirious joy. we also, when we have those difficulties, that's when people start bailing out. And I don't know if you understand the English word. It's like you said, running away. Yeah. But that is something people need to learn. This is not easy to do when we rub and I don't understand something, or the other person has their feelings hurt, there is a conflict. And I feel like what I found really important is, and at least in my work, is like to really help people cultivate, and for me that is crucial, cultivate presence and the ability to burn with your own feelings, to sit in your feelings and be vulnerable and real, instead of like I can say, this is what I feel hurt or I feel joy, yeah, but I don't put the finger, this learning about not putting the finger on you are this or you are that, because in that moment, if you look at the hand, it's like 3 fingers point back to me. I'm feeling upset, not you are a bad person, because I feel it's more like I feel this. And this willingness to really be fierce on to allow yourself to experience what you're experiencing without putting the blame out there, and be willing to be vulnerable and real, like we did when we had a little misunderstanding. We sat down and we cried and we shared and we were real with each other. And this point where it's so needed to take moments right when the fire is burning so intense, that's the magic moment of love. It's in that hard spot. Will you sit through that? And it's going to be uncomfortable. And brings a breath of presence to it. A sense of the earth holds you in the midst of it. Because when the wounds get activated inside of us, we want to fight, or we want to bite, or we want to hide. Everybody has their own thing. Some people become the barking dogs, and other people become like the little girl who hides in the closet and doesn't say anything anymore. Some people go, there is no fire, there is no conflict. It's like the deniers. But then there's like this willingness to say, look, I'm going into the fire with you. For one, because you matter to me. For another, because I want to have connection in my community or in my family or in my relationship. And I'm here. I have no idea what to say, but this is what I'm experiencing. And I want to hear what you're experiencing. And to stay more with our present experience and to share directly from that what I call resonance relating.
Yes.
That skill, you have to learn it. It's easy doing sunny days, but doing stormy days, that's where it becomes. I teach that as a spiritual practice, resonance relating, because it's exquisite when we can enter into that together. But also during a conflict, that requires a bit more.
Yes. Yes. In this conversation, I'm just opening many doors, and in this season, we are just using 1 hour because of the time of Instagram, and I'm just feeling that now we just need to close, but I'm feeling that we opened a door that it's very, very spacey and with many subjects. So we need to just make another in the next year to just open more these kind of teams, because I will love to share with people some parts of your work and the wishes that you are really, the seeds that you are really put here in Portugal, because I think it's very good to know your work and the I th the group feeling that you bring with you about co-creating rituals and courses and experiences. I think it will be good to know work of Nicola. If you know, if you want just to talk with her, this is the contact of Nicola in Instagram. And if you want to just give your email or something that people can write you, make sessions, individual sessions or group sessions or many things. It's very open. I can feel that. But now we are in probably in the 3 last minutes of our dialogue.
Oh my God, it went
Yes.
fast. I cannot believe it. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Only the little bit of the fire of true love, and I'm like, oh my God, it's
Yeah.
have a good time when it's in resonance. You just time just flies.
Yes. It's we have the proof here. And
Oh, and can I add one thing, Sarah?
yeah.
I wanted to just say, if that's okay, that because Portugal and Sarah has encouraged me a lot. I did not want to offer my work in Portugal, but there's others who have asked. So there will be a retreat on end of April in Portugal, and it will be an amazing place at Quinta de Cavalos, and it will be particularly on the fire of true love, but healing between the masculine and feminine and the resonance way. So it will be a beautiful retreat, and I'm taking a leap of faith here, and because I don't know if Portugal people are okay with it. Will be an English spoken retreat, so it will be only for people who here live in Portugal right now, because nobody else can travel. So I just
Yes. Actually, we are many that understand English.
yeah.
So and we find ways to integrate people that don't understand English if they have the will to share that moments with you. So we just need to trust in the universe and understand that if your service and your love wants to touch in people that don't speak English, we will find a way. Don't worry.
Right. And at that Quinta, they have 14 horses, so we will include them, and there will be a very powerful ceremony also with the feminine and with women and men, and yeah, deep meditations. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Nicola works with horses too. We have a relationship, very wise and sweet relationship with horses. So many things are here to just open. But in this season, we just have 1 hour to talk and share some points of our lives. So I just want to thank you a lot, Nicola, to come and close with me this door of this year that we felt together in this quarantine. We
yeah,
spent any time together on our trees and in our river at front of our house. So thank you to just open the space to be a sacred family in that specific time of our year, and to the Beltane ritual that I didn't forget. And we return with many space to share with you in next year, or who knows, with different ideas, because you are welcome and in my life and in the community life of Raiz de Portugal. So thank you so much.
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for welcoming me into this circle, and the roots may grow deep. Are, and I'm so grateful for you, Sarah. Thank you for this beautiful conversation, and in love. I can feel the love between us flowing. It's very precious, and just thank you also to everyone who came and listened to it. I feel very touched touched by this country, by you, by Ruz de Portugal, and yeah, everybody right now who is willing to walk into the fire of true love and live it. Thank you. Jay. Ciao, Bella.
Soon. Ciao.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.